Okay, so we're recording now. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Clark. I'm a media strategist and founder of Dufferin Media. And today I'm doing a workshop on Pinterest. And Pinterest is an amazing social media platform. If one of your goals is to drive traffic to your website, improve search engine optimization, and potentially make some online sales. So we're going to go through some of the benefits of Pinterest and just explore a little bit about how you might be able to implement this for your business. So I've screen shared here my Pinterest account, and I'm just going to share with you some of the tricks and tips that I've learned and implemented in my business and for some of my clients that have worked. And I can share honestly that I have only made a small dent in using Pinterest. There is a whole world here that can literally people that I know that run their business using traffic from Twitter, from Pinterest. So here we go. So here's Pinterest. First of all, I'd love to share with you some statistics. And this is from the Hootsuite blog. So I often refer to the Hootsuite blog because they have lots of current information. And it's very interesting to note that Pinterest has over 335 million users who use Pinterest every month. So there's a lot of people that are actually using it on a regular basis. These aren't just users that have registered, they're active on the platform. And no surprise that generally the geographical statistics is North America and the UK. So I know, Rachel, you've got business in the UK. There's a lot of people on Pinterest that are in the UK. A lot of the people that I've connected with are in the UK. And the other one that I wanted to point it out was that it was mostly a female base. So if your target audience is female, Pinterest is absolutely one of the platforms that you can use to maximize your business. And of more interest to me is that the age group demographic goes younger than some of the other platforms. So if you're looking to reach some of the younger female audience, they are also on Pinterest. They may not be on Facebook. They are probably on Instagram, let's be honest, but the young women are also on Pinterest. So it's a great place for your business to be if those are your target audiences. Okay, so just a few points that I had from my last workshop that I did on Pinterest. Pinterest is a very visual platform. So everything is done with images, and there are also videos. What's different about Pinterest as opposed to Instagram is that the text and the hashtags and the landing pages are all actionable and indexed by Google. So fun fact, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Google cannot index Instagram. Instagram has blocked search engines from spidering their platform. So if one of your goals is to have better search engine results and be found on Google, then Pinterest is a better platform than Instagram. Instagram really has no SEO value at all. Okay, so we talked about the statistics. The benefits of Pinterest, and I already talked about this, is that your Pinterest profile, your Pinterest boards, and your actual pins will be indexed by Google and other search results. In fact, it happens quite quickly. So there's a huge benefit there. Pinterest is an amazing traffic generator. So each of your pins that you create and post, you can add your landing page to those, and they're clickable and will send traffic directly to your website or your landing pages. That's true. Low cost paid ads. So I'm just sharing this as an experience because at Christmas time, one of my clients wanted to run some paid ads for some products that they were selling online. And we found that Pinterest was insanely cheaper than using Facebook or Instagram. So for the same rough budget, we were able to get not just more reach and clicks, but more sales for that client using Pinterest. So it's something to keep in mind. Okay, so we're gonna navigate Pinterest now, which is kind of fun. Okay, so this is Pinterest. Now for Pinterest, I have a personal account and I have a business account. So I highly recommend, if you're using this for your business, that you also set up a business profile, because it unlocks the statistics and it unlocks the paid ads. So you want to have both. And so right now I'm on my my business, Sarah Clark Media Strategist, and that's why there's analytics here. So my profile is set up. I've got a profile picture, and the cover right now is being generated from all of my recent pins. I'll tell you that some of the experts that I see using Pinterest, they actually will create their own cover. Okay, so I personally haven't done that yet, but it is an option I've seen some people do that's very beautiful. The text that you see in your bio is highly indexed by Google. So if you have something that you're trying to rank for in your business, changing it in your bio is going to be a quick and effective way of doing that. And then underneath, you'll see all of my boards. The most successful pinners that I see have a lot of boards, like we're talking hundreds of boards. I have 29, so I'm sort of on the entry level of that. The more boards that you have, the more traffic that you'll generate, assuming that they're popular boards. And the more pins that you have, the more traffic you're going to generate. So it's really a game of numbers. It's a game of quality, and it's a game of keywords. So when we are talking about boards, if I open up a board, so marketing tips, I've created a board, it's called marketing tips. In here, you can actually edit the cover, again, which I have not done, but it is an option to do. More importantly, because my goal is to get more traffic from Google, more importantly, you can edit the text description of each board. And it actually allows you quite a few characters. I think it's 500. So there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of text that you can use if you have keywords that you're trying to rank for. So whether it's names of oils or, you know, there's so many possibilities here that you could use and list all kinds of great keywords within your description of the board. Adding categories suggested too. I haven't done this with this one. So that means some of my boards aren't optimized, so shame on me. I think there's one for business. I'm just gonna say, there's one for business. I'm gonna say education because it's tips, and then I'm gonna save that. So basically Pinterest is made up of your profile, and then your boards, and then each board has your pins, and that's where your content goes. When you're on the home page of Pinterest, it's gonna show you a news feed. So much like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram has a news feed. This is your news feed for Pinterest. It's completely visual. So it's showing you content based on either the boards that you're following, the pinners that you're following, or the algorithms that the program has used to see what type of content you like, and it's gonna show you that content. And what most people do with these is they'll scroll through, and if there's anything that's being shown from another pinner or board that matches something that you're trying to do, by all means, save it to one of your boards, because that gives you more pins and more content for your followers. So the content on your boards are going to be made up from content that you create and content that you curate, and that means content that you find from other sources. And it is whatever you want to make it. And some people come to me and say, well, my business is in this industry, it doesn't apply. And I disagree, because I think that there's benefit if your business goal is to get website traffic, or if your business goal is to have better search results on Google, Pinterest can be used as a tool towards that. Even if you are in a business that mainly targets men, there are men on Pinterest. There are men that are searching on Google for certain topics, and they're going to find those results on Google from your pins. So that's sort of navigating Pinterest. I'm using this from my desktop or my computer. There's also the Pinterest app. All of the navigation is very similar. So sometimes I will go on my phone and I'll repin a few things from my phone. I prefer using the desktop. That's just personal. So you can see on my, just going to hop over, see if my analytics will cooperate. So because I have a business account, I have access to analytics. That's not going to cooperate where I wanted it to. Now, sorry, my computer's lagging there. I don't know if that will show it or not. I have 204,000 monthly viewers. So what does that correlate to? And I had it open before and now it's not open. Business Hub, here we go. So for me, in the past 30 days, that's resulted in 220,000 impressions of my pins, about 2,000 saves, and 224 clicks to my website. So I'm pretty happy with that. I would like more website traffic. If I spent a little bit more time on this instead of my clients' Pinterest accounts, then I'd be getting more website traffic. But that's the balance that I'm in, right? So that's just showing you one of the benefits of that. In addition, if I hop over to Google and I do a search for, say, Sarah Clark Orangeville, just out of demonstration purposes, if I click on the images of my Google search results, usually in the first scroll, there's stuff here from Pinterest. I must not have searched the right thing. So there's one there. It didn't come up in the first one, but basically the images, what happens is they get saved on the image search results of Google. And I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at stuff on Google, I often toggle over to the images. So it's a very common thing for people to be searching for. If I look for something more specific, where are all the pins? I should have tested some first. Okay, so LinkedIn, Pinterest is coming up. First page, but lower down. Let me see if there's a better example from one of my boards. Also show.
I get what you mean. I do that all the time when I'm like searching for like worksheets and things or anything for the kids at school. And so many Pinterest links come up like in the first Google search.
Usually in the first scroll. So usually, so if I search for Dufferin Media, for example, my Pinterest profile shows up on the first page of Google. So that's the main point that I want to make, is that usually the Pinterest efforts that you do, from your profile to your boards to your pins, will get indexed quickly on that first page of Google, which is what you want, because not a lot of people search past the first page. So I've had clients come to me and they have very specific keywords that they're trying to rank for. And if we implement a Pinterest strategy, almost immediately we can rank them for those keywords. So it's very powerful in that sense, because those can be, the Google traffic is much more valuable than some other sources. People are specifically looking for your business. Okay, so any questions so far on the navigation piece?
I just wanted to ask, I had a personal profile, which recently I decided to make my lavender and lime one. And I just changed it over. I just like switched it over because I didn't really want two accounts. And then I just made all the boards that had anything that wasn't to do with oils secret, so nobody could see them. Is that okay? Like No,
they wouldn't add any value to your search engine results. They'd basically be a place where you can save personal stuff.
That's what I was thinking. Like, there's a lot of like teaching stuff and school stuff in there, and like my kids' birthdays and stuff, right? So I just made all those boards secret, so nobody else
can see those, and then you can focus on the boards that you want to use for your business specifically.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the only thing is I've only got like 3 at the moment because I haven't really spent much time on it. I'm just that's what I find hard about all of this social media, is the amount of time you actually have to put into it.
Yeah.
You don't see quick results, right? It's a long-term investment. So,
but I'm going to show you a really good time saver now for Pinterest. So depending on who you speak to, I know I hear bloggers that talk about how they just do all their pins manually and they just post them right on Pinterest. That's fine. That's what they choose to do. They spend hours a day on Pinterest. Personally, I don't have that time to invest in Pinterest, but I still want to get benefit from it. So what I do is I tend to spend 1 to 2 hours a week where I focus on Pinterest. And what I do is I use a program called Tailwind to schedule out to Pinterest so that I can spend about an hour creating pins and then about an hour scheduling them, and then I'm done for the week. And what has happened using that process is I actually end up with more pins in my schedule than I need. So it's kind of like a reassurance that if I, for some reason, can't do 1 week, it's okay because I've still got stuff in there and content schedule. So you can just add a pin from your computer. So for example, as I was telling Christy earlier, I have just updated one of my previous blog posts with a new graphic, and I updated some of the text for more SEO value. And now I want to push it back out there on Pinterest, and I'm going to put it to my other social media profiles too. So once you have the image on your computer, I'm going to copy my landing page. I'm going to go to Pinterest, and I'm just going to show you how to actually do a pin. So all I do is I click on the little create pin icon. I upload that image from my computer. Again, if you are on your phone, it's pretty easy to do this exact same process. You just hit add. So when you're creating your pin, just because I've copied my link, I'm going to paste that in to the link section. That's really important. Each of your pins, as long as you complete that, will click out to your website. If you don't, it won't go anywhere. So I'm just going to add title. Okay. Now, when you're adding a pin manually, you can select only one board. So that's one of the downfalls of doing it this way. Okay. So I'm going to put this up on website tips, publish. So now it's live. I could have used more text there, by the way. The text that's available is pretty long. I think it's about 500 characters. So there's a lot of space there in comparison to other social media platforms. To explain your pin, use hashtags. Pinterest now has hashtags, and that will get you even better results. I'm just sort of doing it a little bit quicker for demonstration purposes. So now that pin's live, I've pinned it manually. Now I'm going to show you Tailwind. So tailwindapp.com, it's a paid application. I think the first level is about $11 a month, but there is a free version, so you could test it to see if it works for you. What this is it's a scheduling program, but there's a little bit more to it so that you can schedule multiple pins to multiple boards, share them with tribes that are on here as well, and I can show you that piece. You can also add smart loops, which means if you have evergreen content that you're trying to share on a regular basis, say every 3 months or every 6 months, you can schedule it in there just to be pushed out on Pinterest on a regular basis. So right now in my scheduler, I have 73 pins. So I'm good right now. Now I'm posting 4 times a day, and you can increase that. It looks like I'm good until June. So if I wanted to post more, I could change that, because I know for one of my clients, I was doing about 9 a day. So it just depends on how much information you want to push out there. So when I'm adding content into Tailwind and I create a new pin, there's actually, number one, I can work with as many as I want. So I can create all these drafts, and I can work with them multiple pins at a time instead of just one at a time. And I can pin them to multiple boards and schedule them out. So you can see that there's sort of an exponential benefit of using Tailwind. It saves time. It allows you to pin to more boards. And then there's some other good features. So if you're looking to get the benefits of Pinterest and not spend as much time on it, then this is a great way to do it. So the ones I'm going to work on first, what I've done in this case for demonstration purposes, is I've created 3 different pins that all have to do with that same blog post that I just did. So I did the blog post, the website tips, test your website forms regularly. I've got the original picture, and then I've got 3 pins. So I'm actually going to go back in Tailwind and add the original picture to the drafts, and then I'll work with that one too for now. And I'm going to take off the other drafts because I'm going to do those separately. So I'm just going to delete those for now, and I'll bring them back in after. So what some of these busy bloggers do that are earning revenue from their blogs, and Christy, this is going to be you, they are literally creating hundreds of pins a day.
Jeez, yeah. Well, I just wrote down one blog equals 3 pins. And for my blog, I created 1. So, wow.
If you're creating a pin in Canva, the beautiful thing is that you can create a pin, duplicate it. Add a template, change the text, duplicate it. So you can do probably 10 pins in the matter of about 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I just have to get smart with the work. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So Canva's made it pretty easy to fire out multiple pins that will look different for each blog post.
Okay.
Okay. Especially if it's a blog post that you have ads on.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're going to earn money on those impressions. So now what I can do is I can post all of these pins to the same boards. So I know I want to do website tips. I'm going to add it to my board. What other boards do I have that might be appropriate? Blogging. I'm part of a collaborative board. So that's a whole other topic. But if you ever want to research, there are boards on Pinterest that people are collaborating on. That means, like, say the 3 of us, we could each have a shared board. So you would pin to it, I would pin to it, Rachel would pin to it. So there's like a collaboration.
I think you'd find that you would pin to it, Sarah, and Christy and I would probably pin to it maybe next month. Just being honest. You'd be doing all the work.
Marketing tips. Okay, so I've selected a bunch of boards. Now I'm going to put these pins to. And now I want to make sure that I've got the right landing page to that blog post in Tailwind for each of these pins. So it has the pin, the actual image, what boards it's going to, the pin title, description, and the website piece. So I'm going to update that first. Now it's cool to note that Tailwind also is a scheduling program for Facebook and Twitter.
Oh.
I don't use it for that. I've never tested it, so I can't give you any suggestions on how that works, but it does apparently schedule to those, and I believe it does to Instagram as well. But again, I've not used it for them. So you could give each pin a unique description if there's different keywords that you're trying to get indexed for.
Did you eat all your lunch? Did you eat your vegetables?
For this demonstration, guys, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to copy and paste the same description to each of these pins. But again, you'd probably get more benefit if you actually gave unique descriptions. So that's all of those ready. Now, if I wanted to get even more benefit, I could add 1 or more of these to a tribe. And a tribe is basically like a group on Facebook where like-minded people have joined a tribe or a group, and they share their content in this tribe with the hopes that other tribe members or other group members will repin their content because it's all of a particular topic. So for example, one of my clients was involved in farming, and one of their topics was beekeeping and honey. So I was able to find tribes that were involved in farming or agriculture or beekeeping or honey. And that was a way to even further maximize the content that was being scheduled out through Tailwind. So I'll just show you that quickly. If I go to add to tribes and I only clicked on that one pin, I can't because I've used them up already unless I pay more money. So I'm not going to. Whatever plan I'm on, I get to submit 30 pins a month to the tribes that I've subscribed to, which I've already done. Okay, so I'm just going to close that. But just so that you know that's there, I found that that has generated a lot of reshares for me. Okay, so then I'm going to schedule all drafts. So all 4 of these pins are now going to go out to all these boards. And it's going to move it over to my queue. So if I'm working here on like a Monday and I add maybe 20 or 40 pins, usually what I'll do is I'll shuffle my queue so that they don't always end up at the end.
Excuse me one second.
Yep.
Turn that down. Way down.
There were 6 people registered for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's okay. You guys are getting your...
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot, actually. I just need to find the time to do it. that's the trouble.
Schedule like 1 hour a week. I bet you'd notice a difference.
I think I need to do that, yeah.
Like just even Sunday night at 9 o'clock.
Mm.
Do it. Okay, so
I can't do that. It's 90 Day Fiance, Sarah.
Right, yes. No, we can't miss that. Okay, so another cool thing about Tailwind, if you don't have time to make your own pins in Canva, you can use the Tailwind app. I've got mine installed on my browser. See how I've got that little Tailwind button there? So I can search images on Google or any other search engine or any other website. So right now I've searched for motivational quotes. Let me do motivational quotes for bosses. Whatever. Let's see what comes up. It's sort of like girl boss stuff. Okay, so I'm on Google. I click my little Tailwind app. It's gonna grab a whole bunch of those images and I can go through and pick any that I want to pin. The cool thing about this is you can change the landing page, so it's gonna go to your website.
Ah, cool.
This is cool, right? Now, you might want to avoid the ones that have the watermark on them that aren't your website, but you can actually get other content to pin that's from other sources, right? So I'm just going to grab a few. I grabbed 4, but imagine you could grab 20.
Yeah.
And then you hit schedule and it's going to pull them all into your drafts. And so now I can go through and I can pin these all, again, to multiple boards. So I've got a board called Coffee and Confidence, which is meant to post in motivational stuff. And I have a board called Girl Boss. And I think that's maybe it. I have one called Kindness. I don't know that it goes in there. So I'm going to put it to those 2 boards. And then what you can do is go through each one. And you can see the title of the pin, what it's thrown in there is the Google search I did. I don't want that. So I'm just going to say, again, you could give them all their own title. You could do them separately and spend a few bit of extra minutes, like giving them a description. I'm just sort of doing this for demonstration purposes, but you don't want to leave the Google search in there. It just looks weird. And then instead of the Google link, delete that. I'm going to put it back to my website. See? And then I'm going to copy that and make sure that all 4 of these pins are scheduled to go to my website if anybody clicks on them. So it's an additional way of generating traffic to your website. And one of my, I did have a pin go viral that was more like this. It was more motivational quote. And it had something like 66,000 impressions and like 2,000 clicks.
Wow.
Hi.
Did your kitty come?
So then I might go through and just retype the text so that it has more value. Or you might just kind of keep it. Like I really like that one.
I'm still seeing the Google search screen, Sarah. I don't know if I froze it, like, I don't know what happened.
No, you know why? Because, okay, it's popped up.
Okay.
The Tailwind, so you can't see this, eh? Let me see. I'm just gonna try and fix that. There, can you see?
Right. That's it, yeah.
I apologize, thanks for
That's
pointing
okay.
that out. It popped it into a new window, so this share wasn't working. So what happened was when I was on Google and I searched for that and I clicked on images and I clicked the Tailwind icon, it opens up a new window with all of the images in it. And I can then go through and I can pick as many as I want that I would like to schedule to my Pinterest accounts. And then when I hit schedule, it brings me to this editor. So now what I'm doing is I'm editing the 4 pins that I chose to make sure that they're going to the boards I want. They have a title, a description, and they're going to my website, not to the Google search result.
Cool.
So those are the things that I've been changing. So I'm just making sure that they make sense, because when it first brings them in, it's got the search result, it's got the search question, and it goes to a Google link, and that doesn't serve anything. Okay, so now they're all going to my website. Again, I could add them to tribes if I had any space in there if I wanted to. But other than that, I'm pretty cool with this. So basically, by doing this quick exercise, I've just created 8 pins because it's going to go out 4 pins to 2 boards. So schedule all. So eventually, if you were doing this on a bit of a regular basis, you could end up with hundreds of pins in your queue. And the more pins that you do, the more traffic you're going to get, the more impressions you're going to get, the more followers you're going to get.
Can you pick the day that it goes, or does it just sort of, I see that you had yours done up to June. Will it just, if you're creating more, will it just like stick them onto the next 3 days? Or can you like?
You can move them around. You
move
can
them
add
around
a
too.
scheduler.
Right.
I'm trying to go back into the right screen. Okay, so you guys can see now my Tailwind dashboard, right?
Yeah.
So you can manipulate how many pins you have and where things are. So if you don't quite like something where it is, you can drag and drop it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Somewhere else, or you can shuffle it and it'll automatically do it. You can add more times, more dates. You can change times. So there's quite a advanced bunch of scheduling options there.
Perfect. And when it comes to a timeline or a time frame, you're sending out 4 a day. Are you doing it all at 5 o'clock? Is it staggered throughout the day?
It's staggered based on what Tailwind is suggesting.
Okay,
So
perfect.
it's really weird times if you look at the way that they've scheduled it. So this one's going out Thursday, May 14th at 12:09 p.m.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good though. If
So
they're
if
going to do
you
that
if
part
you
of
were
it.
to set it up so it went to your Facebook as well, because like what I see is like something you could use, and you could do a post and just send it to all your social media, right? Which would kind of help with timing, but it would go to your Facebook page, not like a group, right? It would go to your.
I believe so. Again, I'm sorry, I haven't tested that function, so
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. But I'm assuming that's what it would do, is that it would also schedule it out to your Facebook business page and your Twitter account.
Right.
So there's Other programs that you can use. So for example, I use Hootsuite in order to post out to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then I choose to do Pinterest separately because I like using Tailwind to get the most value out of Pinterest. But there's lots of different strategies that you can implement. It needs to work for you.
Yeah.
The thing with Facebook is that you can't push out like that many posts a day. People will unfollow you. Whereas Pinterest is very forgiving, and it's more, the more valuable content you're pushing in there, the better results you're going to have.
Right.
Right. And then one of the other things that I didn't show you before when I was in here is about your audience. So in Pinterest, you have the opportunity to follow either other people or other boards. So for example, if I were to search, let's see if we can find Rachel. If I were to search for boards, maybe.
I think I'm lavender and lime oils, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I am.
So, okay, there's a lot of stuff called lavender and lime, so
Yeah.
that was a big fail.
That's me. That one with the jewelry is me. That's
This
my
one?
board. Yeah, that's my board. Yeah.
Okay, so when you find, so I'm gonna follow you. Okay, so this is just a board. Okay, so this little, your logo,
Yeah, that's
it's
me.
your account. So if I follow an account, I follow all your boards.
Okay.
So you can
All three of them.
you can either follow like a person or an account, or you can follow just a board. And the more followers that you get, the more people will see your content, obviously, because they're going to see it on a regular basis and get notified. So a couple little tips and tricks that I can give you is that it's going to be beneficial for you to follow other boards that are part of your target audience. So moms, women that are sort of into that same thing. If you're looking for local connections, you may use the search function to search for, say, because we're in Orangeville, to see, now it searched all boards. Instead of that, I would rather look for people. So I just have to toggle from all pins over to people, and it will show me the accounts that are in Pinterest that it finds with the word Orangeville in it. So then I can see if there's anybody that I'd like to connect with that's here that maybe I haven't connected with before. Ideally someone that's active.
Right.
So let's just, I'm gonna pick this real estate agent. I'm probably already following her. The second piece that you can do is if you find an account and you say, okay, this is really like either they're a competition or somebody that you want to connect with, or they just totally match your target audience. So you might want to follow that person, but then also see who's connected with them. So I'm now clicking on her community, and I can actually go see who's following that account. And it gives me the opportunity to follow those accounts. So this is a great way to gain followers, because on Pinterest, it is going to be such that if you follow other boards, they're going to get notified. And if they're interested, they might follow you back. And it's a way of growing your audience. I'm just quickly seeing if there's anybody that I might not have connected with locally. But you get kind of that idea, I think, that you can sort of harvest connecting with other people based on following their connections. Does that make sense? So again, if I find an account that I think might be relevant to my target audience, if you click on community and then you click on followers, you have the opportunity to follow some of those boards, if it makes sense to do so.
Yeah.
And that's one way of growing your audience. Oh, there's the box. Okay, so I think that's a really useful tip if you're trying to grow your followers. Okay, any questions now? I think I've gone through all the points that I wanted to go through. So
if I do have one question. So when we're looking at
just
creating,
just before you ask, what I'm going to do, Christy,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn off the recording so that we can now just chat.
Oh yeah, sure.